All right, so the second day of the Hunter Biden trial. Well, technically it's third, but I didn't do the jury selection, so I'm going to say second. All right, so let's just get right to it. Hunter Biden's ex-wife and former girlfriend testify at trial about finding his drug paraphernalia. All right, so Hunter Biden's ex-wife and a former girlfriend testified Wednesday in his gun trial about finding his crack pipes and other drug paraphernalia. And jurors saw photos of the president's son bare-chested in a bubble bath and heard about his visit to a strip club. Okay. Why did we see photos of him in a bubble bath? And yeah, I would hope he's bare-chested because it's in a frickin' bubble bath, but why? Why was that in evidence? And a visit to a strip club. I realize that strip clubs have a horrible reputation, but again, why? Where is this going? What was the point of that? As the First Lady sat in the front row, well, at least someone has, family that gives a crap about him. The courtroom grew quiet when Kathleen Buell, who was married to Hunter for 20 years, walked in. She testified that she discovered her husband was using drugs when she found a crack pipe in an ashtray on their porch on July 3, 2015, a day after their anniversary. When she confronted him, he acknowledged smoking crack, she said. The trial about whether he lied on a gun purchase form in 2018 when he said he wasn't using drugs has quickly become a highly personal and detailed tour of the mistakes and drug use of Hunter Biden, whose struggles have been tabloid fodder for years and were used publicly by Republicans, including in their stalled impeachment efforts against the president. Complete with, like I said, a dick pic by Marjorie Taylor Greene because, we have to just completely humiliate Hunter Biden because we're that low that we could say hi to hell. Look up, say hi to hell. Anyway. The proceedings are unfolding as the 2024 election looms and allies worry about the toll it will take on President Joe Biden, which, yeah, that makes sense, who is deeply concerned about the health and sustained sobriety of his only living son. Prosecutors argue the photos, testimony, and other evidence are necessary to show Hunter Biden's state of mind when he bought the gun. Are we sure about that? Because it was in a bubble bath. What state of mind are you trying to give? What state of mind do you think that says? He's relaxing in a bubble bath. Wow. Or he went to a strip club. Non-crackheads do that. So again, what state of mind are we trying to convey here? Hunter Biden has been charged with 3 felonies stemming from the purchase in October 2018. He's accused of lying to a federally licensed gun dealer, making a false claim on the application by saying he was not a drug user and illegally having the gun for 11 days. Jurors have seen the gun and the form at the center of the case, and they have heard from the former clerk who sold the weapon. The clerk, Gordon Cleveland, said he watched as Hunter Biden entered his name, address, and other personal information on the form. He said he was standing next to Hunter Biden when he began to answer a series of questions on the form with yes or no boxes to check. Hunter checked a box saying he was purchasing the gun for himself. Another question asked whether the buyer was an unlawful user of or addicted to marijuana, stimulants, narcotics, or any other controlled substance. He wrote no, Cleveland said. He also testified that Hunter did not ask any questions or express any confusion about the question. He paid $900 in cash, telling Cleveland to keep the change, about $13. Prosecutors have hammered the idea that Hunter Biden was a habitual user, unable to stay clean for long. Buell testified that even before she found the drugs, she suspected he was using. He had been kicked out of the Navy after testing positive for cocaine. I was definitely worried, scared, she said. They have 3 children and divorced in 2016 after his infidelity and drug abuse became too much, according to her memoir, If We Break, about the dissolution of their marriage. Buell, who was subpoenaed, was on the stand for a brief 20 minutes. She remained composed but seemed upset as she recounted how she searched his car about a dozen times for drugs whenever the children were driving in it. Did you ever see Hunter using drugs? Defense attorney Abby Lowell asked Buell. No, she replied. Then prosecutor Leo Weiss asked Buell how she knew Hunter was using drugs. He told me, she said. Now, about she never saw Hunter use drugs. Lori Morgan, a country music star from the 90s, I think. She used to be married to Keith Whitley. Never saw him take a drink ever during their marriage. He died of alcohol poisoning. So, just the fact that she didn't see him doesn't prove shit. Doesn't prove anything. Prosecutors also called Zoe Keston, who testified under immunity about meeting Hunter Biden in December 2017 at a strip club in New York where she worked. During a private session, he pulled out a pipe and began smoking what she assumed was crack. He was incredibly charming and charismatic and friendly, and I felt really safe around him, she said. I remember after he had smoked it, nothing had changed. He was the same charming person. Keston detailed for jurors when she saw him use drugs, buy drugs, talk about drugs, or possess drug paraphernalia. Prosecutors asked her where he stored his drugs and pipes, and she testified he kept them in pouches and other places, such as sunglass cases. On cross-examination, Keston acknowledged that she had no contact with him in October 2018, the period when he bought the gun. Jurors were shown dozens of pages of Hunter Biden's memoir, Beautiful Things, written in 2021 after he got sober. And they heard lengthy audio excerpts from the book, which traces his descent into addiction following the death of his brother, Beau Biden, in 2015 from cancer. God, it's been that long. The memoir covers the period he bought the gun, though it doesn't mention the weapon specifically. Lowell has said Hunter Biden's state of mind was different when he wrote the book than when he purchased the gun, when he didn't believe he had an addiction. And he suggested Hunter Biden might have felt that he had a drinking problem at the time, not a drug problem. Counterpoint, alcohol is a drug. Alcohol abuse doesn't preclude a gun purchase. What? That's a controlled substance. What the fuck? Just because it's legal doesn't mean you can't abuse the thing. The Delaware trial comes after the collapse of a plea deal with prosecutors that would have resolved the gun case and a separate California tax case. He's now facing a separate trial in September on charges of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes. Hunter Biden has since pleaded not guilty and said he's being unfairly targeted by the Justice Department after Republicans slammed the now defunct plea plea agreement as a sweetheart deal for the Democratic president's son. Right, because he should suffer the way Trump is suffering, because equality or something. In Congress, Republicans have for months pursued an impeachment inquiry seeking to tie President Biden to his son's business dealings. So far, GOP lawmakers have failed to uncover evidence directly implicating President Biden in any wrongdoing. But on Wednesday, House Republicans accused Hunter and the president's brother, James Biden, of making false statements to Congress as part of the inquiry. Of course they did. Because they will latch on to anything. Hell, they latched on to someone even after he was found to have lied. So, At his criminal trial, Hunter Biden's personal messages have been shown as evidence, including some that came from a laptop he left at a Delaware repair shop and never retrieved, which I find very curious why he never retrieved it. In 2020, the contents made their way to Republicans and were publicly leaked, revealing some highly personal messages about his work and his life, some that appeared in congressional hearings. He has since sued over the leaked information. As well he should, because private information is just that, private. Not for Marjorie Taylor Greene to trot out, as she did, showing a dick pic because reasons. I have no idea why she thought that was relevant to anything. What, did she think that was Joe Biden's dick? What? I have no idea why she did that. That is just stupid. So, yes, he has every right to sue, and he should win that suit. Jurors are also expected to hear from James Biden, who is close with Hunter and helped his nephew through rehab stints in the past. They will also get details on how Beau Biden's widow, Hallie Biden, became addicted to crack during a brief relationship with Hunter after her husband's death. Oh, I just assumed that it was before she married Beau, that she saw Hunter and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with the good brother. But no, this was after his death. Okay. Hallie took the gun from Hunter and tossed it into the garbage at a nearby market, afraid of what he might do with it. The weapon was later found by someone collecting cans and eventually turned over to police. First Lady Jill Biden went to court for the third consecutive day to support Hunter ahead of her trip to France to meet President Joe Biden, who was in Europe to mark the anniversary of D-Day. We have a suspected terrorist in France that was caught trying to blow up the airport. So, yeah. Things, and he's apparently from the Donbass region, which is currently being occupied by Russia. So I don't know if he's a Ukrainian who supports Zelensky and is just upset that not enough is being done, or he's one of the pro-Russian people in that area, which there might still be some, even though a lot of them saw how the Russians treat them and said, oh, well, I was pro-Russian, but you suck. So, who knows which side he's on. If convicted, Hunter Biden faces up to 25 years in prison, though first-time offenders do not get anywhere near the maximum, and it's unclear whether the judge would give him time behind bars. And like I mentioned yesterday, I'm sure the Republicans, if he didn't get the maximum, the Republicans will howl that what an injustice because he's not being hanged or something. The trial is unfolding shortly after Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, was convicted of 34 felonies in New York City. The two criminal cases are unrelated, but their proximity underscores how the courts have taken center stage during the 2024 campaign. And that is the end of that article. So, yeah. Yesterday, I didn't think things looked good for Hunter, but based on the reporting from today, they're not proving that, granted, they're proving that, months before he had a problem and after he had a problem. So you can assume that he had a problem at that time, but he relapsed. So who knows when that was? They haven't told us yet when he relapsed. When he got help and when he relapsed. We don't know that. Because that's more relevant than his state of mind, because he didn't think he was a drug addict. So just because you don't think you're a drug addict doesn't mean you aren't. So anyway, I believe that is all I have for this video, and with that, I will see you guys in the next one.